You're the guy people call when they need a helping hand, moving furniture, unloading a truck. But lately, your shoulder's been acting up, and you're the one who's calling for help. And that's the moment you realize you can no longer shoulder the load.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for orthopedic care, with a range of surgical and non-surgical treatments. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 613, Healthy Eating and Exercise with Depression and Anxiety.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Yo, what's up? Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. I am Amanda Valentine, and guess what? This is the Daily Weigh-In, where I take your questions, mostly from my Instagram page at You Can Pound This, and answer them to the best of my abilities. If you ever ask any questions or have questions for me, which you can always email me at amanda@amandavalentinebites.com, then I will find somebody, hopefully, who can answer those questions. So shoot them my way, always. Yo, I do a lot of podcasts. I need content. Let's be honest. So this question is, how do you stick to healthy eating and exercise when you're dealing with depression and anxiety? And I want to say first and foremost, I am not a doctor or a therapist. So this is a question best answered for your particular situation with a professional. I'm only going to be speaking from my own personal experience to answer this question. So if you are looking for a therapist or somebody, you can always reach out to me and I can recommend somebody, but this is just my own personal answer. So that's what that is. But I have been talking on this podcast this year that I have been dealing with depression, and a depression deeper than I've ever dealt with before. And anxiety, I get a lot of, and I've always had that. And I will say that my anxiety still sucks. But depression, I don't really want to go into a deep dive because I really don't want to cry right now. But, this year has been really rough mentally, like it has been for so many other people. I have been on antidepressants for about 2 months now, which that's going really well. That is something for myself. I don't really want to do long term, but we'll see what happens. So that's been helping me. But as far as eating healthy and an exercise, I 100% understand that you're like, how do you stick to that? Because when you feel like crap and you're dealing with depression and anxiety, it's hard to do. And I exactly felt that this year. And this is my freaking jam. I mean, this is my job too. I mean, now it is, right? And so, it's something that I love deeply so much is health and fitness and wellness and everything else. And to have depression climb up on top of me this year, and just when you just feel nothing, right? It's horrible. Like I didn't even want to go for walks, and I love going for walks. It's hard. It's awful. It is so freaking sad. So, I still stuck to my meal prepping and everything, and just everything just doesn't feel like it's clicking, right? Which is why it's so difficult. So for me, kind of the game changer. And I mean, I'm still living in this, so it's not like I'm coming from a place like I got all the answers. I definitely don't. But it's been asking for help and realizing I need to lean on somebody. As solid and as strong as I feel, as I know about health and nutrition, and the more and more I'm learning, the more certifications I'm getting, the more even deeper I'm going into this, doesn't make me an expert or doesn't make me immune to really hard things. And I think that's a testament for me of how hard this year was for me to take something I've been so deeply involved in for a decade of my life and have it really shake that up and make things really hard. I mean, it's hard. And so it's also hard to be like, I need help with this right now, something that I've just rocked on my own mostly. You know what I mean? So get help. Like, a big shout out to Sarah, who's been on this podcast before, who, found her weight loss goals from finding this podcast, which is absolutely amazing. And she is a health coach right now. She's just a great person with a great heart. And she's got a great story and background, and she really does want to help people. And I was just like, oh, you know what? I need some help right now. I need someone to lean on. I need, as much as I love this, I'm not in a place, I'm standing in my pajamas crying, staring out the window for days at a time. Like it's rough. So I reached out to Sarah, and I'm like, hey, yo, I could use your help right now. Like, I need help right now. And, it comes from a place where you got to kick your own ego aside, but it's been great. I've been working with Sarah 2 months now, and it's just one of those things of like, I need someone to lean on. I need some eyes on me. You know what I mean? Of where I'm at. Like, it's just need somebody sometimes. So that has been incredibly helpful for me. And through that, that's just makes me feel so much better of getting back to a really structured plan. I feel like I've been doing a lot of intuitive eating for the past couple years, and, just kind of going with the flow and maintaining, and that's fine. But, going back to a more rigid structure of like really counting my macros and everything, it just kind of feels like a comfortable coat. Like I just need that right now. Like, again, we all go through seasons and phases, and that's totally fine. You're not going to be at your peak forever. It's just not attainable. And so it's just like sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. Sometimes you got to be really strict, and sometimes you can loosen things up, and it ebbs and flows and changes. And that's just where I need to be right now. And that for me personally feels really good. Having a more strict food plan than what I had been doing helps me keep things together. Like, it just makes me feel so much better. It's a relief from having to think about it too much. Like, for every week I've been creating recipes for my Meal Prep Sunday on Instagram, and I put a lot of thought into it. And it's just, my brain has not been in a place where I'm like, it's like there's no bandwidth left. And I feel it's definitely coming back now, which is awesome. But you know what I mean? It's just like, you have to admit sometimes of like, that this is too tough to go on my own. And from kind of having that stricter plan, having somebody to lean on, and with the help of therapy that I've been doing this year, and honestly, the antidepressants I feel like have helped a lot. I don't feel like that's the cure-all answer at all. I feel like it's just one of the many tools I've been using. And that helps me want to be on my exercise routine more. And also, I've been in a lot of pain this year and haven't been able to exercise. And so finding something that is working for me, which is Pilates, shout out to Pilates for that, that has helped keep me in more of a regimen. So am I exactly where my ideal is? No. There's so many things I want to do with exercise and food and everything else, and just the way I want to live my life. But it's like baby stepping it and just getting through it, and survival, and eating healthy and moving my body is incredibly important to me. And that's why it's just like sometimes things get a little too crazy, and you got to ask for help. So pretty much that's my answer to this question from my own experience, is ask for help. If you're really struggling with food, hire a registered dietitian or find a health coach or whoever feels great for you. I will say, I think they're still doing it, that the little clinic at Kroger is doing free virtual sessions with dietitians, and they can help out. If you need the link for that, send me an email, Amanda@AmandaValentineBites.com. Or if you're looking for somebody that is just like your regular person, and to build out a plan specifically for you and keep eyes on you and track your ass, somebody like Sarah is great. I'm doing some of that. I'm taking a little pause. I am working with some women right now. I'm kind of in flux with some things that I'm doing, which is a whole nother podcast. But So I'm planning on ramping up more of that myself into 2021 a little bit more. I'm just kind of working some things out on my end, but if that helps you with your food. Also, I know lots of dietitians and health coaches if you need a recommendation. And as far as exercise goes, my recommendation, not telling you what to do, again, from my experience, is maybe trying something different, finding something. And, also not only is Pilates helpful for me and where my body has been, but also Shelly, who owns Pilates, is incredibly encouraging and such a great person. And she's just been helpful too. And so not to say that, every place that you'll find, you'll know the instructor, but I mean, with so much online things, like you absolutely can have that relationship with somebody that's helping you exercise if you're looking for help. So yeah, ask for help because anxiety and depression is rough stuff. And I'm really glad that it's becoming more of a forefront of the conversation. It's not so much shame behind it this is serious stuff that we're all dealing with, especially this year. I mean, this is a conversation that we should all be having no matter what, if there's a global pandemic, but this year is really rocked a lot of people, and there is no shame in the game of asking for help. And I know that it can be a privilege for some of these things, because they do cost money. But that's why there's like the Kroger thing, like that is free right now through COVID. I mean, there's options, and also, a great support system of family and friends of, if you have somebody you can open up to and be like, hey, can we do this together? Can you help me tag team this? And, see where you can go from there. So give yourself some grace, which is what I've been working on this year also, is just, as dark of a place as I've been this year, I'm still just trashing myself of like, why can't you get it together? Like, why can't you just do things like you normally do? And when you're dealing with stuff like depression, you just can't. And that's why it's like, if you're not living through it, it's so hard to explain it to other people. They're just like, well, just get out of your pajamas and go do it. I'm like, if you know me as a person, I am 1000% a doer. Like, if I'm saying I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it to the best of my abilities. That's just who I am as a person. So saying that in the places that I've been this year is just kind of like, well, you're just being lazy or you're not working hard enough. That's garbage because, it's not that way for everybody. And again, everyone has different circumstances, and it's, I don't want to try to play in the waters that I can give expert advice on this because I can't. I'm just speaking from my own personal thing, but hopefully this is helpful. And if you are feeling some of those feelings and you're struggling, talk to somebody about it, whoever that is for you. And it's just easier. It lightens the load. I am such a person that doesn't ask for help. As I'm learning in therapy with my twisted ass past, I've had some really serious things happen to me and I asked for help and I didn't get it. And it taught me the lesson of you got to do everything yourself. Like, you want to make it happen. The only person that's going to take care of you is you. And that is pretty much how I have lived my entire life. And, it's got its breaking points because it can be pretty lonely when you won't allow yourself to ever count on anybody but you. And sometimes you just need some people to help. And being in a place where you ask for help and people got open arms and they're like, oh my God, can't wait to help you. And I am so excited that I have built a network and a community of people that are those people. Those are the people that you hear interviewed on this podcast. And I'm happy to recommend a lot of people that will welcome you with open arms: therapists, dietitians, health coaches, meditation experts. The list goes on of people that have big hearts and genuinely want to help. Because if you're like me and you just kind of, build the wall and put some spikes on it and you don't trust anybody, they're soften up a little bit. There's good people out there, and 2020 has definitely taught me that. And that has been a really big lesson for me, is to soften and lean into letting people help you. So that's my answer to that question. I don't want to cry. So if you have any other questions, if you ever need a shoulder to lean on and you want mine virtually, Amanda@AmandaValentineBites.com. You can always find me on Instagram because I'm on there too much at You Can Pound This. Again, as always, I appreciate you so much listening to this podcast, especially just, personally for me. It's been a weird year, man. I mean, I've some really great things this year. I mean, really awesome, amazing things have happened for me this year, and I have grown a lot. And, but growth comes out of some painful places. So it's been an awful but awesome year at the same time. And, I just appreciate you listening to this podcast and going through it with me. I'm just trying to be honest and vulnerable about what my own journey looks like, and hopefully that helps you on yours. And I appreciate it more than I'll ever be able to express that you listen to this podcast. So thank you, and I'll talk to you later.
For info on health coaching and more, go to AmandaValentineBites.com.